My life is pretty hectic, I would say. So not only being an executive, but I'm also married and I have a young daughter who's in first grade. So managing the work-life balance, especially when you're running 3 companies on the side of things, can definitely get fairly hectic. Not only do the nootropics help me at work, but they also help me, quite frankly, manage all of the different time zones. So it actually dramatically improved both my performance at the gym and in the corporate world. I did hold the US record for a while in the deadlift. I ended up hitting a 905. Hi, my name is Mike. I want to talk to you about nootropics and the biohacking peptides because I have been able to utilize them to farther my career and farther my professional sports goals. Being an executive, I do end up traveling about 50% of the time, and a lot of that is international travel. So at this point, I've been in 40 countries. I'm pretty close to the million-mile mark on different airlines at this point. So if you've seen the movie Up in the Air, that's very much what I'm like, but hopefully not quite so much on the laying everyone off like George Clooney does in the movie. I am generally there to assist companies in onboarding into our larger global organization and to train people on technology and also showing them the art of the possible in technology because that's kind of what my specialty is in software and in robotics as well. So my first experience with nootropics really came about 8 years ago when my daughter was first born. My performance was just not there, whether in the gym or at work. So I started doing my own research, started researching on the different boards, biohacking boards, things like that. And I was able to find some research into, ironically, actually what the military was originally giving, which was modafinil to fighter pilots to keep them awake during the training missions. And so I went down that little bit of a rabbit hole, and I was able to find, actually Noopept was the first one that I had experience with to give me a boost during my training sessions. I always trained at night. I can't take a lot of caffeine. Like I don't want to take 400 milligrams of caffeine at 9 o'clock at night and then stay awake for till 2 in the morning. But with the Noopept, I was able to focus in, it helped my central nervous system perform better as well without overstimulating me. If I know I'm going to have a particularly hard workout, but it's not going to be that much on the business side for the day, I'll save the Noopept for my training sessions in the evening because I still train fairly late at night. Too many people are always maximizing these stimulants to try and get a workout in, and you can't get a pump when you have 400 milligrams of caffeine in you. Your blood vessels are too constricted. You don't have to worry about that with Noopept. You're not constricting those blood vessels, so that way you end up getting a better workout in as far as hypertrophy is concerned. By utilizing different nootropics, whether that's Noopept or Piracetam, to be able to help me keep the focus, and also they help you adjust to your sleep rhythm, your circadian rhythm. It resets it, and so that way I can power through that first day and then get a good night's sleep that night, and then I'm back onto whatever time zone I am, wherever in the world. It also then helped me, I did hold the US record for a while in the deadlift. I ended up hitting a 905, the strongman deadlift, not a powerlifting one. I was able to actually get the record while having a small daughter. She was 6 months at the time, and she was at the competition where I won it. And I was actually also getting my master's degree in analytics at the time from the University of Illinois. So it was a lot going on, but I was able to actually balance all of that out, and I was able to hit the record that I wanted to. I graduated with my master's degree the following year, and then things went really well on the work front for me too. I ended up getting 2 promotions during that time. From there, I also expanded then from just the Noopept to Mildronate to help me out with the cardio. I was researching, different nootropics. This was still back when I was a strongman, so I was looking for something that would increase my cardio capacity while also giving me a little bit of a mental boost. It was something like 8 out of 10 endurance athletes were utilizing this particular compound. And so obviously it had very good benefits on the cardiovascular side of things. I wasn't as winded. I didn't necessarily move faster, but it took me much less time to recover between events. And especially in strongman, where you have something like a medley race where you're dragging an anchor, for example, like a boat anchor, you have to drop it, run back, pick up a sandbag, run with that, drop that, and then you go and pick up a sled or something along those lines and then drop it. I could recover much faster on that jog back to pick up the next implement. Those were the events between the deadlift and those different medley events that I was the best at. And certainly that ability to recover between those helped me quite a bit. So I actually took the 500 milligram pills that I had gotten from the Cosmic Nootropic website. I start off at 1 pill per day before my morning cardio, and I'll actually go up to 2 pills a day then. So I'll do 1 in the morning pre-cardio, and then I'll do another one in the evening. And again, that gives me that extra cardio boost. So that way, again, I'm not huffing and puffing during my workouts. I recover faster between the sets, which allows me to then push more weight into the next set. So it's actually helped me go through that growth phase. The way that particular compound works is that you're going to start burning less fat and you're going to start utilizing more of your glucose, stores. And so you're going to be burning more of those carbs that you're eating. It also works as if you are in an oxygen depleted state. So let's say very similar to if you're training in Denver, Colorado at extended periods of time, right? Your body does the same thing. The other cool thing about that is because it's operating in that way, you're actually probably going to see maybe a 10% reduction in your resting heart rate, which again is great when you're in your off season, you're carrying a little bit of extra weight, because that's extra pressure on your heart. That's going to, increase your blood pressure. I know when you're first going into nootropics, generally people are probably starting off with the pills like a Noopept or something like that. Then you probably graduate on to the nasal sprays because that seems a little bit more exotic. And then finally you get to the injection ones, whether that's sub-Q, where you're just putting that into the fat of your stomach, much like an insulin kind of shot, to intramuscular with the cerebral isin, because that's a larger injection. And then finally there was like the Semax and the Selanks of the area, especially with Selank, right? I'm naturally a little bit of an introvert. I'm in IT, right? That just comes with the territory pretty much. But I do large speaking engagements at different conferences on technology, or giving large town halls to 10,000 employees, things like that. And so something to reduce anxiety while increasing focus and memory retention of the points that I'm trying to speak about certainly has a big benefit for me. I would say I had a really good experience, honestly, the first time I used it, especially with the intranasal sprays. The effects are almost immediate, which is great. So I was able to get the reduced anxiety, the increased attention span, attention to detail and memory recall on those, right away. With the different nootropics, I always find that I try to pair them up with what kind of day I'm going to have, specifically related to Selank. I'll take that about 30 minutes before a large presentation. The Semax is good for a little bit more of a boost in the morning. So generally I'll take that one about as soon as I wake up in the morning, knowing I have like a big presentation. So I'll take that, let's say at 7 a.m. before a 9 a.m. presentation. And then I'll take the Selank 30 minutes before that 9 a.m. presentation. So about 8:30. Having something like Selank helps where you reduce the anxiety a little bit and you can talk to 5,000 people in a day that are coming up to you at a booth and describing your products. And I will say I have tried other brands, whether that was Selank or a Semax, and spraying that kind of felt like I sprayed fire up my nose because it was not pH balanced, and it caused quite a bit of irritation to the point where I was crying. My eyes were watering. The great thing about the Cosmic Nootropic website, the nasal sprays are all good. They are all like pH balanced, I'll say. Then if I know I'm going to have a in-depth day of reviewing code or testing out a new robotic process or anything like that at work, Piracetam early in the morning gives me that boost of energy and kind of like zeroes in my focus. So that way I can review the code, in detail. I have that enhanced focus. I can kind of block out the other noise of the day. Specifically for me, emails pinging every 2 minutes. I get roughly 10,000 emails a day. I can get distracted if I'm not taking something that'll help me focus in on reviewing just the code for that day. There's always some fire that has to be put out. And so I'll take that, I'll focus in, I'll knock that out for the first half of the day. And then I can spend the second half of the day trying to review all the emails or the fires to put out for that. If you buy from the Cosmic Nootropic website, the dosage is 1 to 2 pills, 1 to 2 times per day. Generally, I take 1 to 2 pills per day because, again, the good thing about rotating them is you don't build up a tolerance. So that way I still get the benefit of 1 pill in the morning, and maybe, if I need an extended period of time of focus, I'll just take another one in the afternoon. I did try the Cortexin injections. Again, that one is a injectable on that side of things. That one's more of a sub-Q. It comes in a lipolyzed powder. where you add your water to it, sterile water or BAC water to that, and then you inject that one into sub-Q, so into your fat storage, whether your love handles, your stomach. Generally avoid the very front of your stomach where your belly button is, because that has a lot of blood vessels. I will say I made the initial mistake. I ordered the wrong one. So there are 2 different dosages available on the website. One is geared towards, let's say, children and women, and the other one is geared more for adults. I didn't get anything out of it, and so I used the full course. I was like, well,
not what I was expecting, but...
Then I went back and redid my research, and I realized I took a dose meant for a child. And as a 240-pound adult man, that was obviously not going to be enough for me. So then I reordered it, and then I did get the focus benefits that I would say was pretty similar to like a dihexa type of focus, where you get some energy, but you get really good focus that lasts for a pretty long period of time. The funny thing is, I don't know how much I can actually differentiate between my personal life and my work life, because they bleed together so much on that front. My wife utilizes the same nootropics that I do, sometimes to the point where I go into my cabinet to try and get one, and it's not there, so I have to order more, because she sees the benefit, for her on the accounting side. And I'll say, as I get more and more into the entrepreneurial side of things, having ones that help me open up more has been very beneficial, that reduce anxiety, things like that, because it's much more sales that I'm having to do now than what I've had to do before. So it's been fun though, like getting more creative and branching out into those new areas. So I'm very thankful to be able to have those opportunities and to bring my family along for the ride too. Russia has always been a hotbed of these products. Like, you're always the first to come out with new ones, to constantly try to have an edge in whether that's sports or in business. And you have the benefit of years of research on these things, and they're not always the easiest to be able to get in the Western world. So it's great to have that ability, those products being offered and things like that you just can't find elsewhere. And again, to have all the research behind them as well.